And what's up, guys? Welcome to the Lanyap Show. I'm John. I've been wanting to do this video, a follow-up video from the previous Battlebots one that we did a couple of weeks ago, but I fell sick. And it's been kind of rough for me and my family. We're all okay. We're getting better over it. I might have a little lingering junk in the back of my throat that I might have to cough every now and again. So forgive me, folks, but it is time to talk more Battlebots. We're going to talk about proposed rule changes, and even some proposed by Team Whyachi and, the BattleBot Hydra. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. I do want to say welcome on board. The Lanyap Show is a South Louisiana podcast, and basically I'll sit down with my friends and family, talk about pop culture, sports. We're big Saints fans, and sometimes politics as well. Sometimes I like to nerd out. I didn't have a guest, and so I just wanted to talk about BattleBots. The big controversy happened. It was something I was into because I'm a nerd, although I'm a casual BattleBots fan. We'll talk about that in a second as well. And it did pretty well. We reached a different type of audience. So if you're watching this again, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing BattleBot videos, but I am happy to do another one. And this is still an interesting topic to me, so I want to do one. And so here we go. It'll just be me again, no guest. But, excuse me, the Lanyap Show, by the way, available on BitChute.com, on Rumble, obviously on YouTube as well, and the audio version, any and everywhere you can get your podcasts, thanks to Podomatic.com. I did get a little criticism about the previous episode. Mostly people agreed with me, but one of them was, well, this guy did a 45-minute video just complaining about the refs. Well, I didn't really complain about the judges. I did complain about the refs a little bit, but we broke down the scorecard, and maybe I was wrong. I'll talk about that as well, how they basically apparently followed the rules, and my issue is with the rules, and we'll talk about that in the proposed rule changes. Excuse me, I'm very sorry there's going to be some of that. But I've been in radio going on 20 years now. I've been doing podcasting since the early 2000s. I started on MySpace doing 15, 20-minute podcasts with my friends. So me doing a 45-minute video is absolutely nothing. I mean, I can talk to myself for 3 hours. So it's not that it's just about BattleBots. I was just looking for a topic. I didn't have a guest, and that's what I wanted to do. But they said you need to do your research, and research the rules. Well, I showed the rules. I showed them on the BattleBots Twitter page, and I'll show them again. I didn't read through them. I just made my points. But look, this time I took some notes. Here's the notepad. I'm going to follow them. You have to understand, I do these live. I don't edit them at all. Normally live on my personal Facebook page, but again, I'm not doing that and just recording this video. But I'm not going to edit at all. So there's going to be things I wish I would have said that I didn't. There's going to be things I say that I made a mistake I probably shouldn't say. There's not going to be any edits here. But at least this time I wrote a little punch list of what to go by. So enough of that nonsense. This might help me a little bit. A little margarita on the rocks. They get started. Yes, I got some cilantro leaves from my garden in there. Natural juice and sugar. And this is the tequila I'm using, by the way. Not sponsored or anything. This is a extra aged añejo tequila. Some people would probably complain and say, man, you shouldn't mix that tequila with anything because it is that good. But yeah, sometimes you just want a really top shelf margarita, right? And that is the way to do it. So let's get into it. I'm a casual BattleBots fan, and I recently seen how big the internet community is in BattleBots, and I still think I just scratched the surface. I thought me and, my family, just me and my two boys, were like some of the only nerds that really liked BattleBots, and that is not true at all. So understand, I've been watching BattleBots since I was young. There was different variations of BattleBots. I don't think it was always called BattleBots. And it went through a bunch of different networks, and I remember vaguely, like one point, it was almost like a maze they had to go through. Some of you guys can comment on what I'm talking about in the early ages. And it didn't really come into its own until the BattleBots that we know. It says Season 6. Yeah, well, this has been around for a long time before that. But anyways, even though I've been watching it for a long time, I am not a hardcore fan like some of you. And I will default to you. I admit that, you guys know way more about it. You guys go in person. I know there are other events, not just BattleBots, but other robot fighting events throughout, and that kind of helps them qualify for BattleBots. I get it. And you guys are way more hardcore about this, but I still been watching for a long time, and I am a casual fan, and the casual fans count too. Because if you just got the hardcore fans, it's not going to do very good in your television ratings. So let's just put that as it is. So there's been a lot of argument, and the pushback against me and my views has basically been the rules. They say the judges did it by the rules. And John, if you did your research and you read the rules, you would know that you were wrong. And the judges got it right according to the rules. Well, my argument is, if that is the case, then the rules need to be changed. And the reason being is that if it doesn't pass the eye test, then the rules aren't good enough, okay? And obviously, this didn't pass the eye test. We went in the last video to the BattleBots Twitter. They had both of those matchups where the audience was allowed to vote on who they think won, and Minotaur and Hydra, of course, were the ones that the fans voted for. That's not who BattleBots said won. So if it doesn't pass the eye test, then the rules need to be changed. I'm going to keep probably repeating that throughout this video. It's like football, okay? If for some reason they decided to give you 10 points for a field goal and still keep the 6 points for a touchdown and one extra point for the extra point, and teams were just barely moving the football, but they would kick a field goal and get 10 points, and the teams that were really moving the football, getting touchdowns, were only ending up with 7, and all the teams were winning because they barely did anything but kick field goals. The people wouldn't like to watch football. The casual observer would be like, this doesn't make any sense. The real team that won didn't get the victory. So that's a flawed rule system. You have to change it. Now, I'm going to go, again, talking about the internet community for BattleBots. I came across this video, this channel, in fact, and this guy does a really good job. I think he calls it Mr. Psycho 2 is his channel. This is how it's spelled. I would say it's Mr. I don't know. It's like one of those Mortal Kombat names. But anyways, he does a really good job, and in this one in particular, he breaks down the rules, and he explains why I am wrong and why the rules are what they are. All right, but we're not going to watch it, but I just wanted to throw him a shout-out for that, and go ahead, and I recommend you watch it, because then he can explain it to you, and he does really good, man. That video got 16,000 views. I don't get anywhere near that. I started out as a little South Louisiana podcast, a lot of local interest stuff, and congrats to him. Again, I do this, I've got a full-time job. I do this for fun. So, but I do appreciate everybody watching and pitching in. And then, again, I want to go to the BattleBots here. You see, this is what I showed last time. They explain the rules. Oh, great. I'm not a member of Twitter. Let me go back. I hate this. because I'm not a member of Twitter. And unless Elon Musk buys it, I probably won't ever be a member of Twitter. Now, I can get what I want elsewhere. There's nothing really, unless I just want to go on the internet and argue with people, why would I be on Twitter? You know, that's kind of all it is. But so I want to go back to what Battlebots said here, because they did mention that they are considering rule changes, mainly on the unsticks. There you go. But people voted for Hydra here, 63 to 36. You know, fans, what are your thoughts on unsticks? I can tell you BattleBots and the bot builders are leaning towards not allowing any unsticks next season. It's still to be determined, but we want to hear your thoughts. And, of course, people chimed in. We're not going to read them all. But I'm going to talk about what I think needs to be changed in BattleBots, and we'll also see what Team Whyachi thinks needs to be changed. But they went ahead and they explained the rules about unsticks. And if you go to the BattleBots Twitter, you can read those. Again, I'm going to get locked out because I'm not a member of Twitter. But check those out. And let's break some of this down before the video gets too long, because, John can't do a long video about BattleBots. That is absurd, right? All right. Let's take another sip, and then we'll get into the changes that I think need to be made. By the way, like, share, subscribe. I don't know if I'll ever do another BattleBots video again, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll follow this story and see if BattleBots really does make some changes. We'll talk about it. Okay. So here we go. The upper deck. Everybody was waiting for that one. The upper deck, man. That was a new addition to the BattleBots. And it made some things interesting. Some battles were interesting with it, but for the most part, I think it caused more trouble than good. Because if your bot could still move, there was no controversy of whether or not they were going to get off the upper deck. I remember the announcers kept playing that up. Can they find their way off the upper deck? Well, as long as it can move, yes, it will. And then if it can't, well, it can't move, and it was going to get counted out anyway. So that really didn't make any difference. It added more issues with getting stuck, like Witch Doctor got stuck on the upper deck, on the wall itself. Not a big fan. It kind of cut some of the arena, made it even smaller, which made it harder for the spinners, who have really had a rough go of it lately. Spinners were doing good, and it's like they nerfed the battle box, right, to go against spinners. And now every time a spinner hits something, there's not a lot of room for them to go. They get stuck in the corners, and they break their own bot from the, what do you call that? The deflection there. So there's a lot of changes in the battle box that I think have negatively affected a lot of bots and strategies, and they all lean towards now having the vertical spinners, not the horizontals like Tombstone, and not the whole body spinners, but the vertical spinners are the ones that benefit the most from this new battle box configuration. The other bots are getting nerfed. So, but I think the upper deck, and if you go through any of the comments on all of them, I think that's number one. It fizzled out. It was kind of interesting at first, and then as it played out, it wasn't interesting at all, and it actually caused problems. There was practically no positive benefit to it, just negative benefit. Get rid of the upper deck, and I think most of you, let me know if you agree in the comments, but I'm sure, let me know if you don't agree, because everybody agrees. If you think that there's a reason that the upper deck needs to stay, let us know why. And I'm open-minded. I'm curious. I could be wrong. Again, I'm just a casual, so let me know why you think the upper deck needs to stay, because I haven't heard any argument up to that point. Hazards. I'm of the opinion we need to get rid of all of them. The things that poke up from the floor, whether it's the saws, whether it's the other things, I don't know what the heck they are. The pulverizers are kind of cool, but they're not in the floors, right? The thing about it, when Battlebots kind of first started out, and I think even before it was Battlebots, it was very, I want to say cavemanish. That's not the, it was very rudimentary, right? So you needed these hazards in the arena to make it a little bit more interesting, because sometimes these bots only worked halfway and their weapons weren't that effective, and they didn't kill each other as much as the Battlebots killed them. And so you needed those. But we're at the point now to where all of these bots are super dangerous, very capable, and all these hazards are doing is making the action less exciting. You see bots like Hydra and others with they are getting super low, and they're just scraping the floor, and there's already enough divots in it from other shots. Then they get stuck in the holes where the saws are. That is not good. You are hindering a bot for no reason. It's not exciting. It's just getting stuck. There is nothing exciting about getting stuck. The saws, as a casual observer and just a fan, it doesn't look like the saws do that much damage. It makes some cool sparks. Some of the drivers might be watching this going, John, you are absolutely crazy. Those saws definitely do damage. But from what I can tell as a casual observer, they don't. They're just kind of lame. The kill saws don't do anything. I keep waiting to see if it catches a tire and cuts up a tire, but that doesn't even happen. It's not worth bots getting stuck in the holes in the floor, and it doesn't bring anything. All it does is bring the excitement down. The negatives totally outweigh the positive in that. If you want to move saws to the walls, that's something you can talk about. I know a lot of people still like the pulverizer because you can push them in there. It helps to control bots. Okay, that's something we got to remember, is the control bots. We don't want to nerf them by taking these hazards out. But take the hazards out of the floor, and maybe, can you put the kill saws on the walls? If that's possible, or maybe just think of other hazards you can put on the walls for the control bots to use, because we don't want to nerf the control bots, right? But you don't want any and every bot just getting stuck for no reason. By all means, they should totally dominate this bot, and then they take off and they get stuck in the floor. It sucks, man. That's lame. That's not cool at all. Okay, so maybe put them in the wall, like I said. Now, I did read some comments about making the walls flat. If you put the hazards on the wall, I'm not sure that could they get stuck in there, maybe. But the pointy, kind of like what I got back there, the pointy walls cause some bots to get stuck. They said maybe it would just be better if it would be flat. Getting stuck is just lame. I want to see a bot not move because it's decapitated, not just because he got stuck in the box. So whatever they can do to fix that, and I think Team Whyachi might have a thought or two about that. Definitely another thing is we need a designated area to throw the bots out. You got to. They keep calling it OOTA, I think, out of the arena is what it's supposed to stand for. Wherever. I mean, these bots, like Hydra, I want to call them launch bots. Oh my God, I'm doing the video and I totally lifters. I can't come up with the word. It's sad. How embarrassing. Anyway, how embarrassing. Anyways, you got to bring that back. They changed the battle box. Almost the entire box now had like curved walls that would keep the bots in the arena, because I guess they decided, well, these fights are going too quickly because they're just launching them out the arena. Okay, well, don't totally nerf those bots by making the whole arena have these. So they went from one extreme to the other. How about just some designated areas? It doesn't have to be the whole arena, but some designated areas that these bots can toss their opponents into. And it won't be as fast because it won't just be any and everywhere on the railing, There has to be certain boxes, a safety deposit box, Just make your little deposit of your rival BattleBot there. And Hydra and the other bots can launch them into that like Blip. I think that's a great deal. You give each type of weapon their own sections of the box where they can be successful. I think I was reading somewhere where they were actually making it illegal. It would be a disqualification to throw the bot out of the arena. They were saying that with Sawblaze, how Sawblaze got that fast victory, and they didn't like that, but they let it slide, apparently. But I was reading that it was actually against the rules to throw a bot out of the arena. No, that's BS, man. I don't know if it's true or not, but it shouldn't be that way. Look, there's sumo wrestling, right? When you talk about battles, sumo wrestling, the objective is to push your opponent out of the arena. I'm a big pro wrestling fan. Not anymore. But growing up as early as I can remember, all the way up until probably my early 20s. And back in the 90s, I think it was, early 90s, WCW had an over-the-top rope rule. Out of nowhere, it was one of the worst things they've ever done in professional wrestling, where they decided if you threw your opponent over the top rope, you would be disqualified. The safety and health people came down and said, oh, no, too many wrestlers are getting injured going over the top rope. We got to stop that. One of the worst things he ever did in WCW. And, yeah, I know. But there's kids that watch this, so we're not, But go and watch, some documentaries, some shoot interviews on him, and they'll tell you what an awful decision. There's so much you can do with the over-the-top rope stuff. And then there's the Royal Rumble. You remember the Royal Rumble? It's one of the most exciting events in pro wrestling, and the whole objective is to toss your opponent out of the ring. Out of the arena tossing has to be a thing. It has to be a thing. Set up designated areas and let those bots toss their opponents out of the ring. Let control bots have weapons on the walls that they can push their opponents into. Open up more arena space to where these spinners, whole body spinners, can hit and not just get launched into a wall and break. Have some room towards it's wide open. And, they made those corners to where not only did they hit, they really pinballed around. Bang, 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 bang. Open it up a little bit more and take out those hazards so things don't get stuck. You take out the upper deck, you got more room for the whole body spinners and the horizontal spinners, and take out the hazards on the floor, which affects every bot. Any bot that wants to get low gets stuck, and that sucks. So that is what I suggest. Let's see what Team Whyachi suggests. So I'm going to go to Team Whyachi's Facebook page. This was from April 15th, I think a week after. So he said, woo, it's been a rough week for some. First off, we want to congratulate the other 7 great teams for making their way to the quarterfinals this season. And a special shout out to Aaron's team on getting the giant nut in the end. It still cracks me up calling it the giant nut. It appears there were a few people who had opinions on the Hydra Tantrum fight. You don't say. From our perspective, it was not the rules, but simply a blown judge's decision. Whatever it is, Again, my opinion is if it is the rules and they followed it 100%, then the rules need to be changed. If it's not the rules and the judges messed up, you know, I read an argument. Do they say it? They don't say it here, but I'll tell you the argument. I watch combat sports. I love MMA. I was a big fan of pro wrestling. I am a boxing fan, so I love combat sports. All of these other sports have sanctioned judges. They're sanctioned. So it's not the UFC's judges, okay? It's not whatever WBA, whatever the boxing, it's not their judges. The Athletic Commission sanctions these judges. So there's less bias there. Sometimes you get bad decisions because they are not totally involved in the sport. And yeah, that happens. But that has been an argument to be made about the judges. Don't bash the judges, but don't, send them hate mail. I got to stop for 1 second and talk about something. I did hear that some drivers, like the Witch Doctor team, was getting death threats. Don't do that. Now, I know I'm not gonna play the BS game. I know fake news and stuff when I see it. I'm not saying that they didn't get death threats, but 99% of the time you get a death threat, it's just like some teenager being stupid, trolling you. They have absolutely no intention. They're just trying to be nasty on the internet because that's what people do on the internet. Now, it's still stupid. People shouldn't do death threats. But especially over Battlebots, man. Especially if you're serious over Battlebots, come on, dude. I realize I'm not as hardcore of a fan as you are, but you don't do death threats over Battlebots. Come on, dude. What kind of goofball are you? But so that made me think of whether or not I should feel bad for what I said about the Witch Doctor driver in the last video, but I don't. I don't wish any death threats on anybody. That's terrible. But I don't. What I said was I lost all respect for him. And I still maintain that. And I know that their argument was their ref was telling them that they were going to count out. The count out was coming. And the other ref was saying, no, not yet. He wasn't going to count out Minotaur. Minotaur's team was pleading with them not to count him out. And the Witch Doctor ref kept saying, come on, it's coming. You just wait. And it went 30 seconds, 60 seconds. The television, and it may not have been true, but the television program made it seem like it was like 90 seconds, okay? Even though screw what the ref is telling you, just go in for the kill. You got something crazy on the ground, you put your foot on its throat, you finish the job. You put that final nail in the coffin. You're Witch Doctor, for God's sakes. Come on, man. Embrace it and just finish the job. Minotaur's limping, okay? If they deserve to be counted out because they're hurt so bad, just go finish the job. Just go and finish the job, okay? You got to do that. And I know they went in once, but look, you got to be ruthless, man. There's a saying in MMA, and in other sports too, but I really heard it a lot in MMA. I'm sorry, I'm making the camera bounce a little bit. Let me move this away. There's a saying, you don't leave it to the judges, okay, for obvious reasons. So if you have a chance, and some people are going to say, well, Hydra did it, in one of the previous fights. Okay, whatever. Hydra is my 5-year-old's favorite BattleBot, and I am partial to Hydra, but I'm not going to just make a biased argument for the sake of it. If they did, okay, then they should have went in for the kill and finished the bot and not sit and wait for the count out or whatever it was, playing it safe. Go for the kill. I'm a go in for the kill type of person. If you don't go in for the kill, you lose a little bit of respect for me. Simple as that. So no, I don't take back what I said in the last video. Go in for the kill. Be ruthless. That's how I feel. If you really thought Minotaur deserved to be counted out, just go ahead and put them out their misery. Seriously. If they were that incapacitated, what you worried about? I don't think they were. I think Minotaur was still very dangerous. That's why I think they still needed to keep battling. So don't listen to the ref. Screw what the ref said and go finish the job. Be ruthless. You would have gained a lot more respect that way. The fans that then, but again, no death threats. I can't say that enough. Stop that. That's nonsense. So, and also no death threats to the judges either. That's absolute nonsense. That's why I was segueing to that. Be nice to the judges. Let's see what else Team Whyachi had to say. So to go back, they say, from our perspective, it was not the rules, but simply a blown judge's decision. Judges are human, and just like the builders, continuing to lose money doing Battlebots made mistakes. They make mistakes. There were actually 2 errors made. The first was using an incorrect interpretation of the rules on what constitutes aggression. The second error was not recognizing a non-functional weapon at the end of the match. Again, the judges are human, have an excellent track record, and do not need any shade thrown their way or calls for replacement. There were many issues all of the teams dealt with during this season, starting with shocking pit floors. 115-degree heat. It was in Vegas, huh? Woo. It gets hot in Vegas. No jacks, and the list goes on. We just wish things could get better for all the builders. So here's some of their recommendations on possible changes going forward, starting with judging. An interesting deal here. They say have each judge take care of only one category, i.e. Judge Derek judges a control category. This makes it easier for the judges and should result in a more accurate score. And so I guess they could specialize in one thing. And so they know the rules perfectly there, and they only watch for that. It's a novel idea. I don't know. Let us know in the comments if you agree with that or not. I don't know where I stand on it. I still like 10-point must systems from watching MMA so much, but I don't know if that's really the best way. It's just what I'm used to. But that is an interesting idea. Each judge take care of one category, and I tell you what, these guys know more about Battlebots than I do, obviously. They're builders. Add in a new extra review process that a team can initiate one time during the brackets to perform an extra review of a split judge's decision. Interesting. The box. Here we go. This is what I really had a problem with, and I think we have some similar ideas here. Eliminate anything that impedes the 2 bots from fighting each other. The shelf adds nothing and amounts to a timeout where the bots can't fight each other. Totally agree. Good point. Not only does it's more negative than positive, but it also takes away from the amount of time that you could have action. We want to see action in Battlebots. So that is a great point, and I think everybody agrees it just didn't work. The upper deck did not work. It was pointless. Eliminate most, if not all, floor hazards in the middle of the arena. Yes, eliminate them all. Again, let the bots fight. Yes, those are becoming unnecessary hindrances to battles. Let the bots, if the bots have taken no damage from their opponent, then they should be 100% available to bring everything that they have. They should be at 100% to rain down the pain. Except, oh no, now they're stuck. They're stuck in the box for some stupid hazard that shouldn't be there. It's not supposed to come in until the end of the fight, but yet they're stuck in it, right? No, get rid of that. As it sits now, there are no legal areas for OOTA out of the arena. Okay? So for Hydra to toss their opponents. Add 2 areas in the back corners. So he's just asking, I'm assuming it's a he that wrote this post, just asking for 2 areas in the back corners. I said they need to make more designated areas. It needs to be legal. Don't stop that no over-the-top rope BS. Bring back tossing the bots out of the arena. Bring that back and just do designated areas. If you don't want it over in 20 seconds or whatever it is, just make some separate areas, some separate boxes for them, and they can do a bunch of flips. Flips! I found it out early in the video. I was struggling for the term. They're flippers. Okay, so they can flip them around, but they have to strategically bring them to a certain area to do the flip to actually end the battle. If you can't legally, as a flipper, throw them out, I mean, your chances of winning go dramatically down. This can be easily made using I-beams on a diagonal similar to the I-beams by the front door areas. Okay, they know more about that type of stuff. I default to them, but just make some boxes, dude. That's a great idea. I think it has to happen. If it doesn't happen, then there's no point in having flippers. Flippers should just quit. Yeah, I know you can still win from the damage from the flip and controlling the battle, but it's not worth it. You have to have that out of the arena. Look, and it's not only flippers that win with that. Other bots have, well, you've seen with Sawblaze, won by just maneuvering a bot out of the arena. Control bots can win with it. Even the spinners can hit a bot and make them fly up and fall in the out of the arena area. So the Uta. So, you know, you got to do that. Also, this was very interesting. A change in format. Have 1 2 versus 2 match each fight night. This could quickly become a fan favorite and allow builders more airtime for their sponsors. Call it the Combis Clash of the Night. The combis could be villains versus heroes, teams versus teams, promising rookies paired with the veteran, etc. Fight until both bots and combis pairing are knocked out. Team Whyachi very much appreciates the fan support and is looking forward to competing again. I like that last idea too. It could be a fun little novelty fight. Give us some more to watch. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not a bot builder or anything. I guess most of the feedback from that would be negative from that proposal would be from that area if those didn't like it. But from a fan perspective, I really don't see why, especially if you want to do like some consolation battles. That would be a great way to do it. And hey, man, those are some great proposals there. So let us know what you think. I'm not going to go too much longer with this video, but let us know what you think in the comments. If you got some more rule changes you'd like to propose, let us know. Let the discussion go. Again, tell me earlier, I wanted to know if you want to keep the upper deck, why? That's a big one. I want to know if anybody exists that wants to keep the upper deck, and if so, why? Let us know in the comments. If you like this video, like it. If you want other people to see it, share. Shout out to Team Whyachi and the Ewerts who shared my video on their video. I truly appreciate it, and congratulations to everybody that won that contest. I submitted my video in the comments just because I wanted fans to see it. And I didn't want to win the contest. I didn't want to take away from the real true fans, and Team Whyachi honored my decision on that. So congratulations to all those fans that won some cool prizes from the team. And I'd like to honestly, sincerely thank everybody for watching. Again, I do this for free. I do this for fun. And I'm not always going to do it about Battlebots, but I do appreciate people watching. So if you want to watch other content, you see some of the other videos I did as well, and you like that, then subscribe. And again, thanks for watching, everybody. And I will probably follow this story again if Battlebots decides that they are actually going to make some changes. And but I'm going to continue being a fan of Battlebots, and I cannot wait for the next round. It's too long of an off season, so I wish there was more. I'll say that. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Peace.